Hey guys, it's Michelle here, the founder and CEO of ihelpmoms.com, where we are on a mission to help make motherhood easier, healthier, and happier. I am so excited today to have the renowned naturopathic specialist. She specializes in maternal health. She's also a mother, and what I like to say is Dr. Jenna really gets what we are going through. So thank you for being on with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I remember when I had my third child and I went to my OBGYN and I actually just had some cyst bursts and I had like a bunch of stuff going on. And I said, I think there's something going on just in my body and my balance, right? Like I can really feel like my body does not feel in a state of ease anymore. I felt like my stress levels was off the charts and my exhaustion did not seem normal at that point postpartum. And I remember they said, "Oh, let's just change your birth control." I'm like, I'm not on birth control right now. Like, I just had another baby. Like, I'm good. I don't want to put more stuff in my system at this minute. But that was like the default and not right or wrong. But I thought to myself, there has to be something else that I can do to balance my system. So I want to ask you, what are some of those signs that moms should look for when that light bulb goes off and says, you know what, maybe there's something else that I should be doing to help my system regulate after having kids?
Yeah, for sure. So, one big thing that I always say, especially when it comes to fatigue, exhaustion, as a society in general, we've really just accepted that, oh, you're a mom. Well, of course you're tired. When in reality, that is just baloney. But something that I always talk to my clients about is if you're running at a 6 out of 10, so if 0 is absolutely no energy, 10 is the most energy that you could have. If you're running on average at a 6 or below, something needs to be investigated. And because you don't have to feel that way. And again, just because you're a mom doesn't mean that you need to just accept this. But that's one thing. Also, if you're noticing that your mood is off. So if you're finding that you have 0 patience, and if you weren't that type of person before, I mean, in general, if you're that type of person, there should be things investigated. But if you go from calm, cool, collected, then you have children and now you have no patience, that's a sign that something may need to be investigated. You need certain supports in place. If your nails are brittle, your hair is brittle, and you're the one who knows yourself the best. So if you just feel like something's off and you just don't feel right, you don't feel like yourself, that alone is a big enough sign that you should be finding a practitioner that's going to listen.
I love it. So when I found my first more holistic doctor, functional medicine, an integrative doctor, there's a lot of names, naturopathic doctors, there's lots of great options out there. It changed my life. I felt like I got my life back, started, really just getting adjusted regularly, watching my nutrition, exercising, the whole picture for me started to come back together and I got my energy back. It was awesome. So my question for you is, if having the blood work done, if getting some of this more advanced testing could really help moms to understand their system imbalances and more importantly, then the next steps to correcting them, why don't all doctors and OBGs and postpartum support help moms with that?
This is kind of a tough one. Honestly, on one hand, again, it comes back to, I think, just as society in general, we've really accepted that, well, you're a mom, of course you're tired. And then that's just almost like the easiest answer to give. The other part of it is, especially when it comes to that postpartum period or that postpartum care, I'm not sure what it's like in the States, but at least here in Ontario, it's like the 6-week appointment is the one that's for the mom. So that model in general, where the mom only gets one appointment, there's so much packed in there that it just, a lot of the time, again, it's almost just, and it sucks to say, but it's just the easier answer to give of, well, you're tired, you're a mom, like, let's move on. A lot of the times it's like, if this persists, then we'll do something about it. Whereas I'm more like, okay, you're already noticing something's up. The fact that you gave birth is a sign enough that, okay, we need to make sure that you're supported before you even start to feel poorly. But Yeah,
Huge.
that's kind of just
Let's shift this paradigm. We are
exactly,
here to help
exactly.
shift the paradigm.
Yeah.
So talk to me about some of the panels, some of the useful, tests that moms can ask for. And most importantly, we have to advocate for ourselves. And
Mhm.
so connecting with a doctor like you can really help us identify what are those expanded panels that we can get, whether it's knowing our vitamin and mineral stores, knowing our estrogen, testosterone, like all of that important B12. I want to hear from you.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So a lot of the times, like when it comes down to it, it's always very important for individualized care. So actually seeing a practitioner, they can get a full history to know what you specifically need. But in general, the ones for postpartum care, definitely iron. So this would be like your ferritin. If you think about it, after you've had a baby, you've created enough blood to support a human. And this is all from your nutrient stores. Then if you're breastfeeding, that's even more nutrient stores that are going into that. So having low iron is something that's already on the radar, and that can contribute to exhaustion, especially because it can cause something called anemia, which is low red blood cells. So ferritin alone is one. Then B12. So B12 is also important for blood production. Again, you've created a human, you've created enough blood to have that human. So, and then you lose blood during labor, postpartum. There's so many areas where the mom is losing these nutrients that we need to be monitoring and making sure that they are optimized levels. So ferritin, B12. The other thing is a thyroid panel. So I say a thyroid panel because there are actually multiple tests to assess the function and condition of your thyroid. So a lot of the times something called TSH is just tested. This is secreted actually from your pituitary gland and is like an indirect indicator of how your thyroid's doing. What we really want to be looking at is actually the hormones secreted from your thyroid, because these can also be off before TSH even starts to change. So in a thyroid panel, there is still TSH as well as T4, T3, reverse T3, and then it's going to also look at antibodies. This is to assess if there's any autoimmune issue contributing to this. The other thing is also vitamin D. So vitamin D is so important.
It's so important. Why doesn't every medical doctor talk about vitamin D?
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that's so important for just like hormone health, energy, immunity, mood, like so many things that contribute to almost like, again, that societal being a mom. Like you have a poor mood, you have no energy, you're getting sick all the time.
Yep.
Vitamin D is something that you definitely need to have checked.
And it needs to be customized, guys. Like I cannot implore you enough. Get to Dr. Jenna, get to a doctor that can customize this stuff for you, because I know I have to take an exorbitant high dose, and I am so glad that I had a doctor like you that could identify what that dosage needs to be. Because I'm telling you, I take it and I am like a different woman. I feel so healthy. I feel so revitalized. It's like a plant getting water. I love vitamin D.
Yeah, for sure. And then two other ones, which again, it's going to kind of be customary to you, but cortisol is something that's important. So this is your stress hormone, and it's going to be important to not only know the amount of cortisol, but also your pattern. It changes throughout the day. So we want it to be higher in the morning and low at nighttime. But what can happen if your body is pumping out stress hormone, cortisol, because this is secreted not only if you're under an actual threat, which could be like, say, heaven forbid, but someone's in your house.
Yeah.
That would be secreting cortisol because you want to escape it. However, it's also perceived stresses. So if you're perceiving that the dog barking, the baby's crying, your toddler's about to fall down the stairs, you're burning dinner, like those chaotic situations as stressful, which they are, but you're secreting cortisol all the time and it stays high, eventually your body can't keep up and it actually ends up affecting other hormones in your body. So that's one thing. If you have high stress, that can be, if you also find yourself dragging yourself out of bed in the morning, you may not be getting that cortisol spike in the morning.
Yes.
Or if at nighttime you're wired but tired, that could be that your pattern is off. So you're not actually having that dip at nighttime.
Yeah.
The other thing too would be your blood sugar. So if you're someone who's like thirsty all the time, you're hungry, you're peeing a lot, and your diet isn't optimal, you're really just downing the granola bars and chocolate and things like that, which if you're tired already, you haven't slept, those things can be very appealing to you, obviously.
Sure.
But having your blood sugar assessed, this is going to be important because this can also contribute to that exhaustion and mood instability and things like that.
Oh man, this was awesome. I love this. I'm so happy that I hope moms can connect to you. I hope all of our moms check out your wealth of information, your videos, your website. I mean, you are amazing. And I noticed something talking about weight, and that is something I'd love to talk to you about, is that postpartum weight, what's normal, what's not, how to shed it, how to know when you're in a healthy zone. So I hope we can do this again and come back on another episode and discuss that, because you are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to do this again. This was super fun.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Everyone check out Dr. Jenna. Bye.
Bye.